Page number 30, 30. The stanza also 30. Appamadena Maghava. Have you got the book? Appamadena Maghava Devanang Tetthatangato Appamadang Pasangsanti Pamado Garahito Sada. Can you follow me again? Appamadena Maghava Devanang Siddhatangato Appamadang Pasangsanti Pamado Garahito Sada. By earnestness, Maghava rose to the lordship of God. Earnestness is ever praised. Negligence is ever despised. This one is easy to understand. Maghava is the name of Sakra. The word Sakra started from Buddhism. Earlier in India they did not use the word Sakra, only Indra. In Hindu literature or Vedas you can see the same name, Indra. But Buddhism used the word Sakra, but not Indra. The name Maghava is given to Sakra because of the effort that he has made to become the Sakra. Now, the names of 6 Devalokas. Can you remember what are the 6 names? Start from Jatum Maharajika, Tavatingsa, Yama, Tusita, Nimmana Rati, Paranimmita Vasavatti. These are the names of 6 Devalokas or heavens. So according to Buddhism, there is not only one heaven or one paradise, but there are 6 places. People like to go to Devaloka or heaven due to 2-3 reasons. First thing, those who were born in Devaloka or heaven can experience more worldly pleasures better than human beings. That is the main reason. There is no childbirth like humans or animals. A big relief to female. They never give birth. The life exists is called opapatika, a spontaneous, suddenly appear. And not only devas, a spirit, ghost also appear like that. The mothers never give birth. And devas, Brahmas also never give birth. But there is another group of devas called earthbound devas, Bhumatu Deva, earthbound devas. They are not celestial devas. Close to this earth and the vicinity of certain trees, jungles, rocks, mountains, rivers are well known as dwelling place of these devas. That is why many people like to go and do some offerings, chanting to Bodhi trees and banyan trees and some other trees. But these two trees are well known amongst the Buddhists and Hindus. Bodhi and banyan tree. You know what is banyan, isn't it? The huge tree, the roots come from the tree to the ground and increase. You can see everywhere. That is banyan. The Buddhas choose one of these trees to sit down and meditate. Now Gautama the Buddha sat down under the Bodhi tree. At that time, the name of this tree is not Bodhi. It is called Pippal tree in India. The name Bodhi was given by the Buddhist, the tree of wisdom. The Buddha gained his wisdom under this tree. Therefore they have given the name Bodhi tree, wisdom tree. But the next Buddha, Maitreya Buddha, chose banyan tree, not Bodhi tree. He sit down under the banyan tree for meditation. After that, people do not pay much attention to Bodhi tree. Banyan tree become very popular. Not banana tree, banyan tree. So devas, earthbound devas, give birth. There is an incident. Group of monks who wanted to put up a hut or shelter started to cut down a tree, big tree. There, a female deva was living with a baby. When the monks started to cut down this tree, this deva came and appealed, please don't cut down this tree. This is my shelter and this is my baby. But this monk is a very stubborn monk. He had no sympathy toward this deva. He started cutting. Then this deva reported this to the Buddha. Immediately the Buddha gave an order for monks not to cut down trees. This is one of the precepts. There are many meanings, not only because of that incident. How the Buddha respected environment. Buddhism gives full support to maintain environment, not to destroy the plant life. So the monk had to stop this. This clearly shows the nature of this earthbound deva. They too have some sort of worldly powers. That is why many people go and make vows under the Bodhi tree and banyan trees and various other trees. But the Bodhi tree is very highly respected because of the enlightenment of the Buddha. But devas in Devaloka are not like human beings or earthbound devas. They exist as they appeared. No changes, no old age. That is why people like this. No old age. And free from many sicknesses that we are facing. Because the formations of our physical body, the combinations of elements and energies, always some sort of friction take place. That is why we had to suffer from various sicknesses. But devas are free from it. No old age. So one day, suddenly disappear. Just like flame of a candle. When the flame disappears, nobody knows where that flame is. What happened to it? So their physical body is just like that flame. Disappears. No dead body to remain for burial or cremation. This is the nature of their existence. So the belief that people had for thousands of years that this is their final goal, heaven or paradise, as eternal. Still, many other religions maintain that belief. Heaven is permanent to them. But Buddhism never accepts it. We believe, we accept, there is, but it is not permanent. Then the duration or the lifespan also different. 500 years here in this world is equal to 1 day to lower Devaloka, Chatu Maharaj. And few hundred years they can exist according to their calculations. Then again when you go to the second stage, Tavatimsa, so 500 years to that particular lower Devaloka become 1 day to the other one, above this, higher than this. Then go on increasing. Then when you reach up to the highest one, don't know how many 100,000s. That is why people thought this is permanent. They never thought that it is impermanent. Another disadvantage of becoming a Deva. All the while they are concentrating on their pleasure, enjoyment, sensual pleasure. And their thinking power is not like human being. The intelligence that we have to think very deeply, you cannot find in Devas. They do not think very deeply. Their thinking power is limited for their enjoyment. Now let us take animals. Animals have mind, animal instinct for their survival, to gain some sort of pleasure, for their protection, but beyond that they have no mind to think about their life. So just like that, Devas all the while think their pleasure, their enjoyment, their happiness, and they do not know actually what will happen to them after their death, because some have no idea about it, and there they do not prepare, they do not perform any religious activities. In fact, they have no any particular religion. They accept, they respect the truth, but there is no particular religion in Devaloka. So chances are not very favorable for making merit or performing religious duties, observing religious principles or precepts or meditation. This is the disadvantage. So after their death, nobody knows. Of course, people or living beings never spent their merits or demerit at once, good karma or bad karma. Always there are many in the waiting list. Now within this lifetime, we experience very pleasant or very unpleasant life due to certain good karma and certain bad karma. So after spending our life will be ended. When it is ended here, the continuity or the existence again take place due to certain karma that we have accumulated during this lifetime. If not, for example, a baby is born. Immediately after giving birth, the baby dies. So what is the destiny or the fate of this baby from the Buddhist point of view? But I do not know about other religions. If you believe that God created and immediately taken back, I don't know for what purpose. Given enormous sufferings and worries and disturbances to their family and mother and father and others. After creation again taken back. I cannot understand for what purpose. From the Buddhist point of view, we can say that this question was put to the Buddha by one young man called Subha. Why some people live maximum lifespan and why some others die very early? What is the secret? The Buddha gave the answer. Those who have destroyed life of other living beings during their previous birth, when rebirth takes place as human beings due to certain other good karmas, they have no chance to spend their maximum lifespan. Earlier, they had to face untimely death because they have destroyed life during their previous. That is the answer for that death. But the second question is, what is the fate or the destiny of this child? Because within this lifetime, this baby has not done any good karma or bad karma. What do you think? No more rebirth? whether there will be any rebirth for this baby or not. Can you tell me? No idea. Very strange. No idea. Pardon? Yes, just now I told you, we cannot spend all our good karma or bad karma. Always there are many karmas remain. Even in the case of the Buddha, how many karmas remained and had to face the consequences or the effect? What about us? We spend actually a little bit. Just like our memory, our knowledge that we have accumulated life after life, a store in the subconscious mind. This subconscious is a modern psychological interpretation. Buddhism does not talk about subconscious mind. Buddhism says bhavanga chitta. Bhavanga chitta means when the mind is not dealing with the five senses and the mental faculties, that mental energy remain in the passive state. That is for subconscious mind. Although it is not active, all our memories, knowledge, habits, character, nature are deposited or stored. All our wholesome and unwholesome, good and bad karmas are there. Never disappear. Only after attaining Arahanta or Pacceka Buddha or Samma Sambuddha, Visankhara Gatang Chittang, what the Buddha said after gaining enlightenment. Now there are no sankharas in my chitta, my mind. Sankhara means these wholesome, unwholesome, karmic energies which prevail in the mind and encourage or influence the mind to create more fresh karma. The Buddhas, Arahantas cannot do that. But we have. Kamma vipaka vattanti vipako kamma samma. Tasma punabbhavo hoti evang loko bhava. How the life exists. This question was put to the Buddha by a deva. Because devas are not very intelligent. Whenever they have some problems, they come and ask the Buddha. How life exists? How this life exists? The answer given by the Buddha. Kamma vipaka vattanti. Every living being creates certain karma, good or bad. These karmas create the effect, vipaka. Vipako kamma sambhavo. The effect that they experience again influence the mind, create more fresh karma. Example. you have done lot of good karma. Then you are very healthy and wealthy and intelligent because of your karma. And by using your wealth, your knowledge, you create more and more good karmas. That means the karma that we have performed during the previous birth produce good result. Now use this good result to create new karma. Then continue. On the other hand, assume you have done certain bad karma during your previous birth. Then your life is very miserable, very poor, and do not know how to survive. Because of this situation, you go and steal, disturb people, bluff people, and robbery, and evil or immoral practices because of your poverty or illiteracy or ignorance. So the bad effect you had to face due to the bad action you have committed paved the way for you to create more bad karma. Kamma vipakavatta. Vipako kamma sambhava. Vipaka, the result, effect. Encourage you to create more and more fresh karma. Tasma punabhavo hoti. Because of that, becoming again take place. Punabhava. Evam loko pavattati. The world, the life exists because of this. Very simple, easy to understand. Now, this baby, although this baby has not done either good or bad karma, there are so many in that subconscious mind or the passive stage of mind, and one of these karmas take the responsibility of this life to condition to produce next existence. Therefore it is not the end. Karmas always remain. Again, there is a big problem that many people cannot understand. Due to certain bad karmas, human beings become animals. Yes. After spending for a certain period, these animals again come back to human life. People say they cannot understand. But there is no difficulty if you know the nature of karma. Karmic energies, karmic forces are there. But the formations of physical body cannot spend, cannot absorb, cannot use on our animal life. Is like that. Due to certain bad karmas, rebirth has taken place as animal. In that animal's mental energy, behind this there are a lot of good karma, but cannot use. The formations of animal life is like that. So after spending, if this animal has not committed more and more evil, because animals also have anger, grudge, jealousy, hatred, craving, these are the causes to create karma. they also create karma. So, but certain animals do not. They eat only grass. Like elephant, cow, goat, horses, carnivorous, and the others leave only leaves or grass. So meat eaters, they have lot of hatred, craving, anger, and they create more bad karma. But those innocent living beings or animals do not create bad karma. Just spend their life. After their death, if there are some good karmas to support them, then they get the chance to become human beings. The Buddha was born, the Buddha at that time, he was working hard to become the Buddha. As an elephant, a snake, a squirrel, peacock, monkey, fish, and again come back to human life. That is why by nature we have three characters in every living being, not let's say a human being. Three characters. Animal nature, human nature, and divine nature. We have potentials are there. Some human beings behave like animals. Although look like human beings, their behavior, way of thinking, their character, like animals. Because of the previous experience, difficult to build up. Some others have more humane character, human values than animals. By suppressing natural animal nature, they try to cultivate humane qualities or human values. And they know how to fulfill their duties and responsibilities and obligations, and how to harmonize, how to cooperate, how to work with others, how to assist others, how to support others, how to look after others. All these are under humane qualities. Then kindness, compassion, sympathy, understanding, good qualities, they are not belong to any religion. Religion has not given all these things. God has not given all these things. The Buddha has not given all these things. These are natural, intrinsic human nature. When they have intelligence, they cultivate these things. When they have no intelligence, then they, behave in such a way by disgracing their human dignity. So we can maintain our humane qualities even without depending on any religion, through our understanding. Shame and fear. These two things are very important to maintain our dignity. Not given by anybody, our nature. This is called human nature. Then above this, there is another. Just now I mentioned it is divine nature, because there is no any other suitable English word. Here divine means not divinity. Divine means superior, noble. Without remaining as normal human beings, we try to cultivate more noble qualities, higher than ordinary human beings. Then introduce 4 Brahma Vihara, sublime estate, higher than normal human life. 4 qualities: Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha. Cultivate these 4. Then we go higher than normal human life. Metta, our compassionate love. Love without any ulterior motive or selfishness. We show our love and sympathy and everything, but expecting something in return. Here, without expecting. That is higher than normal human way of being. Metta. Extending our compassion without any discrimination. Discrimination is a human weakness, human nature. We discriminate others according to our race, color, religion, traditions or culture. We discriminate. Superiority, inferiority. But when we go higher than normal human way of life, we have to forget about all the differences or discrimination. No Chinese, no Sinhalese, no Indians, no European, all are human beings. No Christians, no Buddhists, no Hindus, no Muslims, all are religious people. This is higher than normal human feeling. Karuna. Karuna is our sympathy. That is emotion. When others are in trouble, we give our helping hand or support. We extend our kindness. That is karuna. But metta is not like that. Metta, we always extend towards others, whether they are in trouble or not. See the difference. May all living beings be well and happy. Whether they are in good health or whether they are in difficulties, no differences. That is metta. Without any discrimination, may all living beings, whether humans or animals, no difference. That is metta. So when we support others, animals or humans, when they are in trouble, that is karuna. We support because they are in trouble. But when we extend our kindness, although they are not in trouble, we purify our own mind. We reduce our anger, grudge and ill will and jealousy and enmity by doing that. I see the advantage. Mudita. Having seen how others enjoy their life, without criticizing, without accusing, without passing remarks, without condemning them, we appreciate their pleasure, their enjoyment. Maybe our relatives or family members or friends or others. but very difficult for people to tolerate. When others prosper, people cannot tolerate. Especially their relatives, jealousy. If not, a poor family, after working so hard, have come up and they are doing very well, they enjoy their life, but others pass remarks. And now they are enjoying, we know how they lived. Their father was a beggar, their father was a laborer, now they are enjoying like kings. We must say something, we cannot tolerate it. This is human nature. We had to reduce that. Allow them to enjoy. If possible, when they laugh, you also learn how to laugh. Sharing, sympathetic joy. This is above our normal human way of life. Last one is more difficult. Upekha. Not to show any discrimination. So whenever we are going to do something or to live together, under any circumstances, we should not show our superiority complex or feeling, to condemn others. And we had to treat others equally. All are equal, all are human beings. It is very difficult, but somehow or the other, one day we had to develop up to that extent. Otherwise, there is no salvation for us. We know the difficulties. This is called divine nature, sublime state, noble state. So, now I do know where I am. I started to explain, talking about Devas, isn't it? The nature of Deva. That's right. So, appamadena magava, devanang setthatang gato. The Buddha says, do you know this Sakra? Only by using his effort, supporting others, the merits that he accrued, and today he is enjoying his life as the king of the Devas, Magava. Why this name was given to him? During one of his previous births, with 32 members, altogether 33, dedicated their life to support others, providing road, wells for people to take water, building houses and attending to the sick, and in every possible way they have done a tremendous service to others. 33 of them. Every day they do something for the welfare of others, to release their sufferings or problems or difficulties. Throughout their life, after their death, these 33 people were born in this number 2, Devaloka. And these 33 Devas have become more prominent, more popular Devas in that particular Devaloka. Tava things. 33. Tava things means 33. Devaloka of 33. 33 people. Deva. Jatu Maharajika Tava things. Then the Buddha narrated this story. What they have done actually to support others. Appamadena, earnestness, active, energetic, without laziness. Whole lifetime they have dedicated, devoted to do some service to others. Now here you can understand how Buddhism encourages people to do some welfare activities, social service, help others. So they are not working only for their own salvation, for their own happiness within this lifetime or hereafter. By helping others, they gain more happiness, more peaceful and pleasurable life in the next birth. As a result, Appamadena Madhava Devanang Setthatangato. Setta means great, the leader. Become the leader or the king of the Deva. Anyway, Sakra is not the king of the whole 6 Brahma world. Only that Brahma world, particular. Appamadam pasansanti. Pasansanti means appreciate, praise. Appamadam means earnestness. Everybody appreciate that way of life. Because some people are very lazy and very narrow-minded. And their understanding is very poor. They disregard others. But some people, few people, through their understanding, use their effort and energy and understanding to help others. There are many things that we can do within our capacity. Our energy, our effort, our knowledge, our skill, our understanding, there is something that we can do for the welfare of others. Educated people can help others to enlighten innocent people. Elders can guide others, young people or youth, according to their experience or knowledge. Religious people can guide unfortunate people who commit evil and wicked and immoral things. Rich people can contribute many things for the benefit of poor, unfortunate human beings and living beings. And those who have energy, physical energy, they can do some work, give their helping hand when their services are needed to those unfortunate living beings or human beings. So there are ways and means that we can do something without wasting our life. By doing so, again we also get the chance to cultivate our way of life. We never get the chance to cultivate our way of life simply by enjoying and eating and dancing and merrymaking and spending life just like Deva in the Devaloka. There is no guarantee what will happen to them in the next birth, next existence. So we have to think this seriously. If you don't like to suffer, then there are certain things that we have to do, like this, helping others, doing some service to others. If you like to gain more knowledge, to become intelligent, there are certain things. Try to contribute your knowledge, your experience to enlighten others. Then you become more intelligent in the next world. If you want to be healthy or to lead a long life to maximum lifespan, then you have to attend to sick who are in trouble. There was a monk, his name was Bakkula. Bakkula means two families, who lived 160 years, Buddha's time. The Buddha lived only 80 years. Ananda lived 120 years. But this particular monk lived 160 years. He never had any sickness for 160 years. Not even cough and cold. And all the other monks came and asked, why? Only this particular monk is very healthy, no sickness. But other monks are suffering from all sorts of sicknesses. This Dhammika just got up from the bed. Yesterday he was having high fever and flu. That means you have not done enough good karma during your previous birth. So, then the Buddha said, do you know this particular monk, during so many previous births, every time he has done something to assist, to support sick people by attending to them, by providing medicines or food. That is why he is healthy and spent 160 years. So all these good services, effort that we spend, use, we also experience the good results. This is called karma. Whether we believe or not, this is natural. So appamadang pasansanti, everybody appreciates those who perform this kind of useful, social and welfare, educational, cultural activities to support others. Pamado garahito. Pamada means laziness. Garahita means accuse, insult. Garahi. That means if you are lazy, people condemn you. Never appreciate. So you must be active. Active in such a way to do some service to others. Now let us take here one living example here. Not only one, there are many. Take Mr. Silva. How many years he had been assisting us, supporting us by attending to all the correspondence. You know, our society get letters from all over the world now, asking so many things about Buddhism. We have not employed a clerk. Voluntary service for so many years. Never forget. If he is not free to come that particular day, next day he will come. Because yesterday I couldn't come and tell us. Let us take Vijay Samaravika, who just returned from Australia. After returning from Australia, he is a little bit lazy now because of, I think, Australian way of life. Before going to Australia, he was very energetic, always come, don't wait, now we have to prepare article and this and that, anything to prepare, always come and ask, any proof to read? He doesn't want to waste time. This is a contribution to enlighten the whole world. How people appreciate this noble work, how people are benefited, then we gain happiness. Now you come and listen. But when I ask something, you keep quiet. I don't know what you learn. I think when you go out, you tell others what you have learned. To guide others, you can do some service. To wipe out their misunderstanding, wrong ideas, wrongdoing, to enlighten them. It is a service. So if not, pamado garahito saddha, if you are lazy, people never appreciate your attitude. Forever you remain like this. Try to gain some knowledge, some understanding. And when your family members, the place you work, your office or factory or anywhere, in the society, you meet many people. You can discuss with them friendly way. Then they appreciate if they can understand. That is your contribution. That is what the Buddha says here. In various ways, he tried to encourage us to contribute something, to do some service to others. So without serving others, our life become useless. In fact, we don't know what to do with this life if we are not going to do any service. Very boring and useless and selfish. I think enough tomorrow morning I have to go to Penang. 2 public talks, Saturday and Sunday. I'll come back on Monday evening. Any question? You never ask question when I talk.
First, Reverend said that in the Deva world, there is only spontaneous birth.
Yeah.
Then you said among the earthbound Devas, they have babies.
Yes.
So, are you born spontaneously as a baby and looked after, or is there separation between earthbound?
No, they have look after just like human beings, mothers and fathers. They look after
But
babies.
they are spontaneously born as babies.
No. No babies there in heaven. They will look.
Then what about the monk who cut down the tree?
Yeah.
And this Deva?
They are earthbound one. Not, Devalok. No babies in Devalok. As they appear, they exist. No changes. No old age.
But the earthbound...
Of course, just like human beings, but they have some extraordinary power, higher than human beings. That's all. And they also can appear and disappear. Earthbound there. You know, Metta Sutta. A group of monks went to jungle for meditation. When they started to meditate in the jungle, many of those earthbound devas, but they are not Buddhists, they don't know how to appreciate this thing. The monks stay there in the jungle, become a nuisance to them. These devas and spirit. They started to disturb them, creating all sort of disturbances, noises here. The monks could not concentrate because of these disturbances. They tried and tried, cannot. Return to the Buddha and complain. We try to meditate in that particular area, lot of disturbances. I'm sure they come from other living beings, spirit, devas, and what to do now? We cannot practice meditation in that jungle. Then the Buddha asked, before you started your meditation, did you extend your loving kindness or compassion, metta, toward those living beings around that area? They said no. Must go back to the same place. Before you start your meditation, then he recited this. Karaniya matta kusalena yantang santang padang abhisamecca, the Metta Sutta. You must radiate your metta towards all those living beings. Then start your meditation. They did the same thing. No more disturbance. They have gone away from that area without disturbing the monks. This is the nature of earthbound deva. Anything else? There was, I think you have heard this story, a boy from Sri Lanka, 6 years old boy. Every evening he recites very long sutras in Pali. But he has not studied even ABCD. Without making a single mistake, he recites all the Pali words, 4 or 5 pages, one sutra, like Dhammacakka Sutra, Mahasamaya Sutra, Satchavibhanga Sutra, 7-8 pages. He closed his eyes and recited. No one could understand. I have a tape, cassette tape. Then some research workers from America and England visited Sri Lanka and interviewed, recorded. Then this child said he was a Buddhist scholar monk who has mastered the Pali language and all the sutras. And that memory still remains. Just go on reciting. Now I have spent nearly 60 years to study these sutras. I cannot read without book. Even in the book also sometimes make mistake. But this child, 6 years old child, recite without making the sentence where he stopped, without making any grammatical mistake or pronunciations. Very clear. Then he said he was a Buddhist scholar monk That memory is still maintained. Then he said, I have attended the Buddha's funeral. Can you believe this? This is 2538 years ago. This child says he has attended the Buddha's funeral. Then he says, do you know, nobody set fire to the funeral fire. Automatically the fire started. He said, it is mentioned in Mahaparinirvana Sutra. The Buddha has given instruction for his disciples after his death. You can keep the dead body for 3 days, then wrap with piece of cloth and put the oil and burn. But after 3 days, when they tried to carry the body, no one could get. Then the kings and the ministers and the army, all of them tried to, no one could. For 1 week they had this battle, could not lift. The reason is given. Venerable Anuruddha, Mahakasa, not Anuruddha. Anuruddha was there when the Buddha passed away. Mahakasa, he had a problem. I think I have told you the story. Because of that incident, he decided to go to jungle, not to come back until the Buddha passed away. Very far away in the jungle. Then he made a will in the jungle. But I want to know, when the Buddha passed away, there must be some indication, a particular tree there. So after a few years, he saw that particular tree completely bloomed in flower. But that is not the season. In India there is a season for flowers and fruits. Then he knew this must be the indication. Started his journey. It has taken 1 week for him to reach. And he also made a will. I must have the chance to go and pay my last respect to the Buddha. That is why they could not carry the body. Try to burn. No fire. Mahakasapa not yet arrived. In every possible way, after 1 week, they tried to burn the dead body. No fire. When Mahakasapa came and paid last respect, the fire automatically started. That is what this boy says. Fire automatically started. Alright. Now my question is this. 2538 years. Assume, divide into 70 or 80. How many times? Rebirth. As human being. It is impossible to maintain that memory. Such a long period, life after life, life after life, fading. Then how did he maintain this memory? Very easily. That is my question. Have you got anything to say? Not Devaloka. Devaloka, they have no time to think about all these things they are enjoying there. Monk? No, monks also human beings. If they have attained Arahanta, no rebirth. those earthbound devas, their maximum lifespan, few thousand years. So this particular person, but not mentioned whether he was a monk or layman at that time, when he attended the Buddha's funeral, not mentioned. He said, I attended the Buddha's funeral. But he must be a very religious man. After his death, rebirth has taken place as one of the devas, earthbound devas, and remained without changes. Then become a human being. That is why still the memory is very fresh. Now this boy maintained this memory only for 3 years, up to 9. After 9, everything faded. When we were in Sydney, Australia, we met him. He is 21 years old. Now 23, I think. But he cannot remember even one word now. He doesn't believe that he had such memory. This is the nature of it. But no one can give the clear explanation why only children in this period maintain this memory. There were hundreds and thousands of cases. Another young girl, 7 years old, very accurate. But after 9 or 10, all disappeared. So now, this boy, about 23, I think, working in a ministry in Sri Lanka. No, that memory is no more. So what I wanted to mention, so one who has become the earthbound deva can spend for a few thousand years and maintain the same memory till another rebirth takes place. This is the nature of our life. There is another aspiration, will, by some Buddhists, especially in Sri Lanka, I have seen. After performing some religious or meritorious deeds, they recite this as their aspiration, as their will. Ito chutohang varajambu depe Himalaye deva pativa hutva metteya nathassa sunomi dhamma. Meaning, by the virtues of this merit, may I get the chance to be born one of the devas, as earthbound devas, until the next Buddha, Maitreya Buddha, appear in this world. So that I never miss him, because if I never make such aspiration, lot of changes can take place, become humans and animals and become stupid and all sort of things. But one stretch without any changes, remain as Deva, when the Maitreya Buddha appear and become human being and attain Nirvana. Aspiration. What do you think? Why not you also make this aspiration? No more rebirth, only one stage for a few thousand years, remain. When the Maitreya Buddha appear, come down. Try and see. Okay. Right, sharing. Imina punya kammena upajjaya gunottara acari upakaraca mata pita piya mamam suriyo candi maharaja vanta narapice ब्रह्मा महाराज इंद्राच लोकपालाच देवता यमो मित्ता मनुष्याच मध्यत्ता वेदितापि च सब्बे सत्ता सुखी होन्तु पुण्यानि पकतानि मे सुखाञ्च जीवितां देन्तु क्षिप्तं पापेत इमिना पुण्यकर्मेण इमिना उद्दिशेन च युक्ताहं सुलभे चैव तन्नोपादानचेतनम् ये सन्ताने न धर्मा यावनिर्वाण न सन्तु सर्वदा एव यत्र जातो भवे भवे उजोचित्तो हतिपान्यो